can't even see, how we feeling?
Yeah.
Feeling good? Who's cold? I'm cold. I just wanted to speak so I could be near this fire right now. That's only this one. I'm going to center myself for a second because something Atlas said to me earlier while he was giving his impromptu speech prompted me to want to speak this evening. By show of hands, how many of you value yourself highly? Show of hands. Okay. How high? This high? This high? A lot of times when we think about how we value ourselves, we think about our careers, we think about our jobs, how we're being compensated. Who here is making all the money they want to make in this world right now? Raise your hand. One person. The best life in the world. I've asked that question a couple of times in different rooms, and people don't usually raise their hand because they actually do equate their value with their income level. And I want to dispel that tonight. The title of my speech, You're on Thin Ice, is that you are on a thin ice that you can break through to whatever greatness it is that you want to attain. I was once paid $25,000 to give a speech. It was an hour long. I didn't even sweat. Here's the thing, I didn't know it was going to be $25,000. I went in there just thinking I would just be me. I would just be free. And I didn't even want the job. And I got the job. Now, why did that happen? It happened because I had no pressure, I had no expectation. I just went in there and said, my job, what I would want to be for the rest of my life would just be me. And be free to talk and share and educate and spread love. That's what I want to do for a living. So 16 years ago, when I was in the military, working on shooting machine guns and pressing buttons to send missiles, I fell in love with something called stand-up comedy. And I found out that stand-up comedy is the best teacher for public speaking. You're on stage and you're forced to make people laugh or they look at you sad. It's a lot of pressure. But I remembered where I came from. You see, like my father, he was a Marine. And my father, he came back from the Vietnam War addicted to heroin. When I was 3 years old, my father left and I never saw him again. When I was 9 years old, my father was murdered by a friend of a friend. My mother, looking for love in all the wrong places, was a crack addict. I remember at the age of 5, seeing my mother invite strangers into the home like it was a New York City turnstile. And one day, a social worker came to me and said, JaMarr, what's wrong with your mother, JaMarr? And knowing if I told her the truth, if I told that social worker the truth, we would be taken away. I knew it, but I did the right thing. I said, my mother needs help. And we were whisked away to live with my grandmother. Now, my grandmother was amazing. She was a great cook. She kept the house clean, but her best friend was a guy by the name of Mr. Bud Weiser. She was a functional alcoholic. I remember as a teenager, at 14 years old, I was so angry. Why me? Why is this happening? What did I do? What did I do? I remember thinking that. I remember just being mad and angry. And I had a friend of mine named Mitchell. Now, Mitchell was a 6'4", 15-year-old, 240-pound stud of a man. And his father was an insane boxer named Mitch Blood Green, who Mike Tyson at one point punched him out on the street corner on 125th Street. He also beat him in the ring. So this is the stock that this kid comes from. I remember him fighting a homeless man for no reason. And I was there just witnessing it. You ever feel like you're just a passenger in your life? Am I the only one? Just me? I was a passenger in that moment. The police were called. 3 of us went to jail. Everyone except Mitchell. And I spent the night in jail. And jail is interesting because when they take your belt and your shoelaces off so you don't commit suicide, you're sitting there with grown men at the age of 15 and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to die. And I definitely don't want to get raped. Why would they take our belts, right? That's what I was thinking. And I fell asleep. And I remember waking up that day and I was afraid for my life. Like, not from the inmates anymore. I was thinking about my mother. She was going to kill me when she found out that I got arrested. She put me on 30 days of house arrest. No charges were filed. I didn't end up doing any time. But I remember I had this switch in my head. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was God. I don't know if it was the universe. I'm not a religious guy, but I had this feeling like, wait a minute. I'm here for something great. You ever feel that way, Alice?
Yes, sir.
You ever feel that way? Like you're here for something great? A little bit? Well, let's turn it all the way up tonight. Because I heard that little thought, and I just started repeating it. I started repeating it until it became a mantra. I'm here for something great. If you know you're here for something great, you don't waste any time on things that are not great. Like a not great marriage, right? You don't waste time. You're like, I want something great. And that little mantra just changed my life. Now, how does that connect to being on thin ice? Because you see, whether it's ice or a glass ceiling, the greatness that you wish to attain, it is right there. It is so close to you. Like if you turned your head, you almost saw it. It's right there. It's just you have to break through it. And I broke through it. And at the age of 18, I remember speaking on stage for the first time in front of 2,000 people at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, raising $2.4 million for a charity called Facing History and Ourselves. Still remember that to this day, I had a nice double-breasted suit. And I'll never forget it there because it was my 18th birthday. Like, how lucky was I to have that window of opportunity to receive it? I wasn't ready to fully receive it. So I figured I need money for college, so I'll join the military, I'll make a man of myself, and sweat and hustle for this money. It took comedy. It took comedy for me to see the joy that you can bring people when you are living your best life. People will light up around you. You lit me up tonight, just seeing you have fun and play. I was like, yes, we all can do that for whatever we want to do, whatever that is. Whatever you wrote down as your dream job, be it right now. Just be it. Just be it. Go out, do it, tell everybody, make a Facebook post tonight, tweet it, go on Instagram, go live. Like, I'm it. I'm what I want to be. Now, it might be hard to connect the dots because we still got to eat, we got to pay bills, right? But I will tell you, the minute you decide to be it, it's like you broke through that thin ice and you went down into that abyss that is that iceberg, and everything that's underneath, all that greatness rises to the surface like a mountain. And I'll tell you what, you'll never worry about money. You'll never worry about what people think about you. You will only think about what you have to give to the world. And that is the greatness that is inside each and every single one of us, because we are all genetically 99.99% the same, but there is a 0.01% difference that only you can give the world, and I suggest you start doing it now because we need you. I need you. Thank you. Madam Toastmaster.